The Texas sun beat down on a parched and dusty landscape. It was the heart of the Dust Bowl, 1930s America. A lone radio crackled to life, the static-laced voice of a news announcer painting a picture of two desperados, Bonnie and Clyde.
Their names, whispered in fear and awe, echoed across the airwaves, symbols of rebellion in a time of despair.
Bonnie Parker, a waitress with dreams bigger than the Texas sky, yearned for a life beyond the drudgery of her small town. Clyde Barrow, a young man hardened by poverty and prison, sought escape from a world that had dealt him a cruel hand. They were two souls, yearning for something more. A yearning that would soon ignite a firestorm across America.
The radio announcer spoke of daring bank robberies, of narrow escapes, of a love story forged in the crucible of crime. But behind those headlines lay a deeper truth, a story of two lost souls who found solace and purpose in each other's arms amidst the chaos of their time.
The air hung heavy with the aroma of coffee and desperation in the small Texas cafe. Bonnie, restless and full of dreams, jotted down poems on scraps of paper, her words reflecting the turmoil of the times.
I wrote about the wind and the dust, about dreams that seemed just out of reach.
Clyde, recently released from prison and already on the run, stepped into the cafe, his eyes hardened, his demeanor wary. Their eyes met across the crowded room, and in that instant, something ignited.
She looked at me like she understood, like she saw right through the tough act.
Bonnie saw past Clyde's rough exterior, sensing a kindred spirit, a fellow dreamer. Clyde, captivated by Bonnie's spirit and her defiant beauty, felt a glimmer of hope he thought long gone.
We talked for hours, sharing dreams and disappointments. I told him about my poetry, about wanting more from life.
She recited her poems with such fire. I saw in her a partner in crime, a Bonnie to my Clyde.
The West Dallas Bank loomed before them, a symbol of the very system that had failed them. Nervous energy crackled between Bonnie and Clyde, a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was it, their first heist together, a test of their bond and a gamble against the hand fate had dealt them.
This is it, Bonnie. Stay close.
Clyde, his hand trembling, brandished his gun, his voice surprisingly steady as he demanded the money. Bonnie, her heart pounding in her chest, stood by his side, her eyes scanning the room, a lookout and an accomplice.
I was so scared. They looked so young, so desperate.
The robbery was over in minutes, a blur of adrenaline and fear. They made their escape in a hail of gunfire, the roar of the engine echoing their wild laughter. They were outlaws now, fugitives on the run, bound together by the thrill of the heist and the knowledge that they had crossed a line from which there was no turning back. The open road stretched before them, a ribbon of asphalt beckoning them towards an uncertain future.
Bonnie and Clyde, their faces illuminated by the dashboard lights, sped through the night, the wind whipping through their hair, their laughter a defiant anthem against the world that pursued them.
They robbed banks and gas stations, their exploits splashed across the front pages of newspapers nationwide.
To some, they were ruthless criminals, a menace to society.
To others, they were folk heroes, Robin Hood figures striking back against a system that had abandoned them.
Through it all, their bond deepened.
They shared tender moments amidst the chaos, stealing kisses under the starry sky, finding solace in each other's arms as sirens wailed in the distance.
They were partners in crime, lovers against the world, their names forever entwined in a saga of love, rebellion, and tragic destiny.
The thrill of the chase was intoxicating, a dangerous dance with the law.
Bonnie, her finger on the trigger, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and exhilaration, became as adept with a gun as she was with a pen.
Clyde, his jaw set in grim determination, his love for Bonnie fueling his every move, became a cunning and ruthless outlaw.
Their gang grew, a ragtag band of lost souls drawn to their charisma and their legend.
They were a family united by circumstance and united against a common enemy, the law and the society that had cast them aside.
But their spree couldn't last forever.
With each daring heist, the net tightened.
The authorities, their patience wearing thin, were relentless in their pursuit.
Bonnie and Clyde, aware of the risks, clung fiercely to each other, their love story playing out against the backdrop of a nation in turmoil.
The noose tightened.
The manhunt intensified, fueled by public fear and outrage.
The authorities, led by the relentless Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, closed in, their every move shadowed by the specter of Bonnie and Clyde's notoriety.
The Barrow gang's luck began to run out.
Close calls became more frequent.
Their charmed life was unraveling, the fairy tale coming undone.
But through it all, Bonnie and Clyde refused to surrender, their love for each other a beacon in the encroaching darkness.
They knew the end was near, that their days were numbered.
They had made a pact, vowing to go out together rather than face a life apart, a life without the other.
Their love story, born out of desperation and defiance, would culminate in a final act of tragic romance. A secluded road in rural Louisiana became their final stage.
The ambush was swift and brutal, a hail of bullets cutting down the young lovers in a blaze of glory and despair.
Bonnie and Clyde, their bodies riddled with bullets, died as they lived together, their love story ending in a tragic crescendo of violence.
News of their demise spread like wildfire.
Some celebrated the demise of the notorious criminals.
Others mourned the loss of two young lovers who had dared to challenge the status quo.
But one thing was certain, their legend lived on.
Bonnie and Clyde's story, a potent cocktail of love, rebellion, and tragedy, resonated with the American psyche.
They became cultural icons, their names synonymous with a time of hardship and defiance.
The memorial that stands today at the site of their death, adorned with flowers and messages of admiration, is a testament to their enduring legacy.
They were outlaws, yes, but their story, forever etched in the annals of American folklore, continues to captivate and intrigue, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love and rebellion can find a way.
Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Thank you for watching General Exploration and Discovery.